Hey everyone, welcome back to KDX Bricks Analytics, and I've got our first round of 2024 data ready to roll, and as you can tell, I am super excited about that. During the month of January, I watched 33 videos on YouTube about Lego investing and reselling across 8 channels, and from those videos, I collected data on 278 Lego set mentions for investing and some of them against investing. We're going to go through all of it. I'm going to show you some highlights, and then at the end, I'm going to give you my top 3 sets from the data list. On the left is the data table that I collected, and the top set on the table is 75290, the Mos Eisley Cantina, the Master Builder series. It got 8 mentions in the month of January with an enthusiasm score of 2.4. And on the right, we're looking at Brick Set with all the pictures and data and all that good stuff. The set came out in 2020, so it'll have over a 4-year shelf life, but it does have a 4.5 on Brick Set, which is really good for Brick Set. 21 minifigures, 9 of them are exclusive, and they all are super awesome, especially the exclusive alien minifigures and all the different head molds and printings. Lots of great stuff on the minifigure front in this set. And then of course the build itself, the main cantina that opens up, and the multiple side builds, a couple of outbuildings, a couple of ships. And I know we've all seen this a million times, but I gotta point out all of the interior detail that just looks absolutely fantastic, especially the bar and the bartender, all the minifigures placed in there. Luke got knocked over, the band's playing, but don't worry, Han is ready to have a little chat with Greedo. For investing, I love everything about this set. It's the first full-scale, basically UCS Mos Eisley Cantina. We've had a few partial Cantina builds in the past, and they're all doing okay to really well. This one is from 20 years ago, so not a very good comparable, but $30 retail, $225 today. It's the smallest. The next one is the largest comparable. Came out in 2014, $70 retail and $122. And then the last one is the most recent. After you see the first two, there's really nothing special about this one. $40 up to $60. Still not bad. But obviously this latest large scale $400 set blows the other 3 out of the water. Looking at the Master Builder series theme on Brick Set, there's only one other on this list. Betrayal at Cloud City. Retailed for $350, retired in 2019, and it's almost $750, and this one didn't have a lot of popularity when it came out, but still doing pretty well. And if we look at other sets that are kind of the same scale and same concept of a large location and build, you got the Death Star from 2010, $400 to about $650. The Ewok Village from 2013 to 2016, $250 to almost $500. The UCS Assault on Hoth from 2016, $250 to almost $500. This one I think is a lot better than some of the comparables that we looked at, so I think this one will be an $800 to $1,000 set. Might be 4 or 5 year hold time just because of the 4+ year shelf life. But overall, I absolutely love it. Next set on the table is the Ghost and Phantom 2 from the Ahsoka series. 6 mentions with an enthusiasm score of 2.2, so a little bit lower on the enthusiasm score. As you see here, the label says our E-score is from 0 to 3. When I'm watching all of the other Lego investing and reselling videos on YouTube, every time a set gets mentions, like I said, I give it an enthusiasm score. A 0 if the presenter is saying that they are skipping it for investing purposes. A 1 if they're saying that they like it, but they've got some questions and hesitancy. A 2 if they're saying, hey, this should just be a standard quality Lego investment. And then a 3 if the presenter is thinking that the set's going to be a solid above average investment. So according to the January Brick Fanatics 2024 retirement list, this one is retiring at the end of this year, even though it did just come out in September of 2023. On my table, if there is an R in parentheses in front of the set number and name, then that means that according to the latest Brick Fanatics list, it is projected to retire. But remember, that list will evolve throughout the year. Early in the year, like now, there will be a lot of discussion about sets that are likely to fall off and sets that will possibly be added to the retirement list. Just know that in the January-February timeframe, Brick Fanatics is about 96% accurate. And as we get into July, August, September, that gets up to 99+% accurate. So with all that said, this one could fall off of the retirement list, but it's still a good one. $160, only 1,400 pieces, but 5 minifigures. All of them are exclusive, and they're already catching some pretty good value on the secondary market. Even this astromech droid at over $26. First Officer Hawkins, first time we've had him in minifigure form. Same thing with Jason Syndulla. Hera Syndulla looks great in this set, and if we go check her on Brick Economy, there's only one previous version of her valued at $35, and the new one is at almost $40. And then first time we've got Lieutenant Beta in minifigure form. Although this is a $160 set, which seems pretty high. If we add these up, let's see here, about 20, 40, 60, 100, about $120 already of value in the 5 minifigures alone. And although the minifigures are great and they're already showing great value, a set like this at this price point is going to need to have the ship also be a very good selling point. And I'm just okay with this one. You know, overall, I like it a lot, but through here, it's not my favorite. The anti-stud look and all of the gapping is unfortunately what attracts my eye most when I just glance at this picture. The rest of it, I think, is fantastic. And so some of these other images where you get a different viewpoint perspective are just outstanding. So again, it's just the side that's not my favorite. And when we compare to the actual source material, yes, there's a lot of exposed greeveling in there, but there aren't so many gaps between the greeveling and then the wing surfaces. That's just a minor ding from my perspective. Definitely at the $160 price point, I really think we need a good sale on this one. I'd love to get an opportunity to get it for around $120. But with that said, our couple of comparables, 2014 was the only previous play scale set, $90, $608 today. And then a great microfighter from 2016, also $10 to almost $40. So all signs are really good for this set. I'm surprised that it's only a 2.2. With how much buzz the Ahsoka show has had and how popular this ship is, I would have thought this would have been closer to a 2.5, but very solid with 6 mentions on our table. Third on the table is 75354, the Coruscant Guard Gunship, 5 mentions, an E-score of 2.4. For me, I absolutely love this one. Yeah, $140 for only almost 1,100 pieces. So another one that we need a really good discount. I hope we'll get an opportunity around $100. Outside the price, everything is great. I love the striking red color. It's a real standout in the Gunship lineup that we'll look at in a second, but also the minifigures are amazing. The shock troopers are great, really good printing. Chancellor Palpatine is, in my opinion, fantastic. Padme is certainly good enough. Obviously not going to be too much detail on that minifigure. And then the Clone Commander is great on paper, but as you can see, the printing is awful. Just not nearly enough opacity, and the white armor and belt is basically pink, and that's an absolute disappointment. But the design clearly is great. It's just the production. Typing in Gunship to brick set, obviously there are going to be a bunch that are not the Republic Gunship shaping, but if we scroll through, there are a bunch of the mostly white with the green accent and a little bit of red Republic gunships, and so I love the fact that we are getting a mostly red with a little bit of white accent for the Coruscant version. Our first non-Star Wars set on the list, 71741, Ninjago City Gardens. What a beautiful set. 4 mentions, but an E-score of 2.8. That is awesome. $350. I think it used to be $300 before the price bump, but still $350 for 5,685 pieces. A 4.7 on brick set. Everybody says this is the best build of the 4 Ninjago City sets, and it's the most beautiful looking. All the foliage, the water, the detail, the modularity of it, all the minifigures. It's a huge win in my opinion. We look on Brick Economy and search for Ninjago City. 7 sets come up. Obviously, we've got the 4 from this main sub-theme, City Markets. That's the latest, and it is okay. And then we have the original Ninjago City, and then Ninjago City Docks, and both of these are well over 100% growth, 170, 183. That's amazing. I don't think that Ninjago City Gardens will do the same because everybody's seen the performance of the first 2, but I still think it'll go up a solid 100% growth. And then also I want to point out that there's this micro Ninjago City, and I forget the details if that's going to be a gift with purchase. I think it is. I don't think it's going to be its own individual set, but on the back of the box, they're showing that Lego's going to make micro versions of the other 3 large Ninjago City sets, and I think that's a great addition. I think those will be valuable. I think that'll help the value of the large ones also. So yep, another great one that I am very excited about. 75350, the first of I think 3 Star Wars helmets that are projected to retire at the end of 2024. This is Commander Cody. It's great. I love some color. Goes well with the overall Star Wars helmet lineup. Another one that looks unique and stands out and has some variety. $70. They're all very expensive, but the end of 2023 showed that they will very likely go on deep discounts before they completely fall off the shelves. If it does retire, it will have under a 2-year shelf life, which is very good. 4 mentions on the table and also a 2.8 enthusiasm score. Looking at Brick Economy at all of the other helmets, a lot of great standouts. A lot of them have performed really well, as we know. 6 of the 11 have retired so far, so the other 5 are still on the shelves. And it sounds like Lego is stopping at 11 for this sub-theme. But I did want to point out that the value of the 6 that have already retired is almost $1,100, and that is about 150% growth. Obviously, the later ones that retire aren't going to do as well, but I think they're all still going to do pretty well. Even Boba Fett, that had a really long shelf life that people were starting to shy away from because of that long shelf life, is already going up in value. An icon set 10320, the Dorado Fortress, that is a remake of this 1989 version. Both of them are absolutely amazing, gorgeous, fun to play with, great theme. We all love pirates. This one is fantastic. $215 for 2,500 pieces, 9 minifigures, all unique to the set. And wow, can't believe it's projected to retire at the end of 24. It'll have less than a 2-year shelf life if that is true. I think this one is a strong candidate to fall off the retirement list. But 4 mentions, enthusiasm score of 2.5, which is outstanding. So many great details. I do like the main but smaller than usual pirate ship side bill. That was smart to include that in my opinion. And I love that the 3-dimensional base plate, which Lego doesn't produce anymore, is just built all bricks, and it's a very good replica of the original single mold 3-dimensional base plate. We haven't got a Pirates theme set in almost 10 years, so we don't have good recent comparables, but if we scroll down the list, the ones from 2015 are doing amazing. This is $13 over $40. This nice little soldier's outpost looks great, but not too much to it. $20 to $80. Treasure Island, $20 to over $100. And then we're starting to get into some of the larger ones like the Brick Bounty ship from 2015. Dang, I want to add that to my own collection, but it was $100 to $280. And then we go to some of the even older sets. Soldier's Fort from 2009 was $50 to almost $250. Oh, that's a beautiful set. I love it. And then, of course, we get into some of the heavy hitters like Brickbeard's Bounty ship, almost $400. Huge fan of the pirate sets. I didn't have any as a kid. I had a bunch of the classic space, but none of the classic pirates. So these have a different kind of nostalgia to me because I absolutely want to go back in time and get them. This one is a must-have for my personal collection and one that I really think I will be picking up multiple copies of for investing. 75351, Princess Leia Boosh helmet. 4 mentions, E-score 2.3. It freaks me out every time I look at it. It's definitely not pleasing to look at, but it is absolutely awesome. Very, very close to the source material. We already talked about the other helmets. This one too, I think, will be a big winner. 71374, Nintendo Entertainment System. Only 3 mentions, but an E-score of 2.7, $270. Almost 2,700 pieces, so right around the 10-cent price to part ratio. A 4.6 on brick set. I'm always surprised by that. I've never been too enthusiastic about this set. I love how accurate the NES build is and the game cartridge, but I've never loved the television. I think it's a good replica, but it's so small and it's just weird for me, the juxtaposition of the scale of the Nintendo system right next to that television. But a lot of people really swear by the television build and then the action feature where the screen scrolls through and Mario is bouncing through a level. Over a 4-year shelf life, which I think is something to watch, but there are some other good comparable sets that I think go well with it. The Mario 64 question box. I love this one. And then my favorite of these 3 huge display Nintendo sets is the Mighty Bowser. This one's got a lot of buzz. I think right now it's projected to retire in 2025, but of course that could absolutely change. So yeah, with all the evidence and what the other YouTubers are saying about this set, I think I'm gonna have to look at it a little more closely. The next helmet, Darth Vader, 75304. It's been out since 2021, $80, so $10 higher on the basically new standard helmet price point, but it is Darth Vader himself. It is a must-have for your helmet collection. I think it'll be a little slower out of the gate, but the long term, this is definitely a winner and pretty good design overall too. I know there's some complaints in the mouth and nose section, but there's always a little bit of variation, and when I look at it, I know immediately Darth Vader, so I love it. And I did mean to point out that the Princess Leia Boosh helmet is a Target exclusive, so that is something else to keep an eye on for that set. Our first Speed Champion set, you guys know I love Speed Champion 76917, the Too Fast, Too Furious Nissan Skyline. Great looking Speed Champion's car, but also a really great to have O'Connor minifigure of Paul Walker. If we look at the other Fast and Furious licensed Speed Champions that just retired at the end of 23, here we are on eBay, and it was a $20 set. Here it is for $35 after shipping, $30 after shipping, $23 after shipping, not so good, but about $30, $33. So it's between $25 and $35 after shipping. Way too early to start reselling the sets that I have. I forget, I maybe have about 10 or so of them, but it's a really good sign that it's above MSRP by a good amount just a month or so after retirement. And remember, this one was on sale for $12 and $14 a couple of times. Next up is an interesting one, the very large Icons Ghostbusters Ecto 1 at $240. 3 mentions on the table, but only an enthusiasm score of 2. It looks great, but there are no minifigures. Obviously very stylized and very specific to the Ghostbusters franchise. And I'm on the fence with this one. If we look at the previous 2 Ghostbusters sets, we have the awesome Firehouse Headquarters, $350 MSRP, almost $600 today. But then back in 2016, we got a small Ecto 1 and 2, they call it 75828, and it was $60 and only up to $95. So looking at both of these, all indications point to this one also performing well, and I would equate this one more closely with the larger Firehouse Headquarters, just a lot more detail, aimed at adult collectors that are going to be the right age from when these movies came out and they watched them as kids. And again, this set is extremely well done. So in general, I lean towards a good investment, but it's been out since 2020, so over a 4-year shelf life. And are the Ghostbusters movies gradually, disappearing from everyday references and everyday society? I worry that maybe in 10 years the Ghostbuster movies won't even be talked about that much. Kind of sad to think about that, but it could be possible. So one that I'm definitely keeping an eye on. Absolutely need it on sale. $240 is a lot of money for just a vehicle at the end of the day. 10308 on our table also has 3 mentions with an E score of 2. This is the Holiday Main Street from the Winter Village collection. Lego produces one every year. They typically have a 2-year shelf life, and then they have one retire at the end of each year, and they've been at the $100 price point for a long time. I will definitely be passing on this set unless it's a 50% or more discount, and the main reason is because if we look at the previous few Winter Village sets, they just aren't performing that well. Most recent one we have data on is the Elf Clubhouse was $100, $102. The Gingerbread House is up to $128. The Winter Village Fire Station is $126, and then you have to go back to 2017, 2018 timeframe to have some very good return on investment. Christmas sets are awesome, very popular. They are good for reselling, or actually have been good for reselling for many years, but I think people are really figuring that out with these sets, and so they get over hoarded. Therefore, there's just too much supply on the secondary market. And the main reason I think this one is starting to get a little bit more buzz than the last few from the last few years is because it has the little trolley that is the correct gauge or width for going on Lego track. And I've seen that people have done mocks to motorize this little trolley. So that's a nice little touch. And, Lego trains are pretty popular, but still, these 2 buildings are nice, but they're open in the back. I don't think it's going to be one that's going to go too far on the secondary market. 31120 Medieval Castle, also expected to retire at the end of this year. 3 mentions, enthusiasm score of 2. It's a creator 3-in-1 castle set. It looks really good. 4.3 on brick set isn't bad for a creator 3-in-1. Here's the A model that has a lot of nice elements and design and color usage. Got the water wheels, some foliage on both sides, the drawbridge, the main castle area, a tower on this side. A lot to like about it. And on top of that, if we look at previous castle sets, they are very popular. This first one right here, Castle Knights accessory set from 2014, it was $15 and it's $81. And if we scroll down and look at some of the larger sets like the Gatehouse Raid, $30 to over $115. Dragon Mountain, $50 to $178. King's Castle, I've marked this one that I absolutely want, and I marked that I need it. That's how much I want it. $100 to over $400. Oh yeah, this one too, Kingdom's Joust. house is super cool. That one's over $300 and it was $120 retail. So just like Pirates, classic castle, very, very popular. And we don't get many castle sets today. So I think this one will be pretty good as an investment. The only thing that makes me worry about it is that it is a creator 3-in-1, and the creator sets typically don't perform too well, but there's always a couple each year that seem to be really good on the secondary market. One thing that is great about this set is that it does come with minifigures. If you recall, original creator 3-in-1s did not have minifigures. Lego started doing that. I honestly don't even remember. I feel like it's been a few years now, maybe even longer. And then also, it is worth pointing out that the A model is great, but it's not the only thing that's great to build in this set. The B model and C model are also decent, so that's pretty good. Got the nice, I forget if that's a trebuchet or just a catapult. That's a good, I think, B model. And then the C model with a medieval market and a little reference to a castle tower, and the nice tree looks good. And so maybe some people would want to buy 3 or 4 of these and build all models, and then maybe even make some of their own mocks and make a nice castle layout using pieces from these sets. It's absolutely one that I'm going to keep an eye on and that I like, but I would love to get a very good discount on it. You know, if they came out for $70, I'd be picking some up. 31144, the exotic parrot. This one is a Target exclusive, also 3 mentions, 2 enthusiasm score, and another interesting one to look at. It's a creator 3-in-1. B model and C model really aren't of interest, but the A model bird here looks really good. And I want to show that there's a lot of bird sets that Lego's putting out right now, and I think that's something to pay attention to. They do a lot of research on what kind of sets people want, and if they're producing a bunch of bird sets all at once, then, you know, that's showing that there's going to be demand for these sets. This one here is an exact of the pink parrot, except it is the original and it is the blue exotic parrot. It's kind of cool that you can get 2 different parrots. I could see people wanting to get both and collect both of those. But then also, if we look at the Ideas bird set from 2015, it was $45 and it is almost $120. That's definitely a good indication. And then sets that are out right now. So we've got the new Kingfisher bird that is part of the Icons series. It's only $50. That's not bad for this one. 834 pieces. It's a beautiful set. Great stand and foliage and swamp area with the cattails. The more I look at this, I want one myself, and I'm not even that much of a bird person, but that's a great addition. This nice little creator 3-in-1 birdhouse. It's adorable. I think this one will be a good one to look at. The bird's nest, also adorable. And then this, the Art Fauna Collection Macaw Parrots. That is cool looking. And this one too is a great price at $60. Yeah, only 644 pieces, but I think that's pretty good at $60. So I'm going to read Lego's signal that they're sending out by producing a bunch of bird sets. And I'm going to look at this one that's performed well and say to myself that these 2 could be something to look at. Another one with 3 mentions and an E-score of 2 is the latest Batmobile, Batman versus the Joker Chase. It looks pretty good, but it's $48 for 438 pieces. Yeah, 2 minifigures, one's exclusive, but we have tons of Batman and Joker, so the minifigures, other than, you know, they're just fun to have, there's nothing special with them. So this one, it's all about the vehicle. And because of that and the price, I'm pretty hesitant. Unless it's a really, really good discount, I will be passing on it. If we look at previous Batmobiles, some of them have been okay, but it's been a little while. I think I got to scroll down and remind myself. So the classic TV Batmobile was a good one from last year. That one was exclusive, I think, at Target, maybe Walmart. So a lot of people are excited about that one. It's already up from 30 to 40. And then let's find some more Batmobiles. That one was limited edition. Here's one, Pursuit of the Joker. So very similar, but from 2019, and it's $30 to $43. Pretty good looking set. That's not nothing. And, you know, it's okay that that's going up a little bit. Of course, the big one that was $250 up to $366 isn't bad. Now we're down to some of the original Batman and Batmobile sets. That's an awesome set. So clearly these are going to be really good. $30 to almost $300. But the trend is showing that it's fizzling a lot. Maybe this one will get up to $60 a year or so after retirement. But that could be pushing it. 76251, Star-Lord's helmet. 3 mentions with an E-score of 1.7. I'm passing on this one. When it came out, I really liked how it looked, but the more I've looked at it, it just feels like it got scalped. I wish it had something different than it being a pencil holder and the scalp, you know. And so not my favorite, expensive at $80. We do have some other Marvel helmets though. Venom, it just retired, still available, I think maybe at Barnes & Noble or, you know, here and there. So it's not showing any secondary market price yet, but we have Carnage. This was a Target exclusive, retired at the end of 22, $60 to $76. That's been a disappointment for a lot lot of people. I don't have any of these helmets. And then we do get the new Spider-Man's mask that does look pretty good. Good prints, even though it uses these large Lego pieces. I actually would kind of like this one for my collection. It's the first of the superheroes helmets that I would like to add to my own collection. So now that we've got 4, maybe, further down the road, there would be some collectability and people would want to get all of these. But for now, I'm not excited about this one. And one more on the table with 3 mentions. Also, the score of 1.7 is Weasley's Wizard Wheezes 76422 from Harry Potter. Very similar build to the same shop that is in the $400 Diagon Alley set. 90 bucks seems like a lot for me. The unique minifigures don't really matter for Harry Potter. The Harry Potter theme is losing some buzz, so this one is going to be a pass for me. The rest of the sets on the table only have 2 mentions or 1 mention, so I'm going to go through them very quickly. And also, I've already jibber jabbered a lot already, which y'all know I like to do. I definitely like to talk. It's fun making these videos. Don't worry though, if you see a set that you've got your eyes on that I'm not analyzing in this video, I will definitely get to them all in future videos, especially as they get more and more mentions. So next up is one of my favorites, the Executor Super Star Destroyer 75356. It came out back in May, scheduled to retire at the end of this year. We'll see, but my vote is that it will. And when it came out, good buzz, but not too much for investing yet because we knew it wasn't going to retire at the end of 23. But now it's time to talk about it a lot. Also because Lego just announced and gave us official pictures on 3 more midi-scale Star Wars ships, the Millennium Falcon, and they all look great to me. I love ships in this kind of scale. You can put a bunch of them on not very much shelf space. There's the Tantive 4 and then the Invisible Hand. What a cool ship and cool name for a ship. This Star Destroyer has 3 mentions on our table and it is a Walmart exclusive. Something definitely to keep an eye on. 71395, the Mario 64 question mark block. We talked about it earlier. I think it's a great one. Also an enthusiasm score of 3. I haven't built it, but I've heard the build is really, really good. 75349, Captain Rex helmet. I love all the helmets, as you know, and interestingly enough, this one is not on the retirement list. Maybe it will show up since Commander Cody is. I'd be surprised if they retired at different years. Also enthusiasm score of 3 on our table. 10283, the NASA Space Shuttle Discovery. Love this set. We're not going to look at it here, but if you look up all of the NASA sets, the vast majority of them are very good on the secondary market. This one has an E-score of 2.5. The Amazing Spider-Man art set. Most art sets don't do well, maybe 1 or 2, but this one I'm actually going to keep an eye on. It's strange and maybe it'll stand out and be unique kind of way. So one I'm going to watch, but I'm not too excited about right now. And the next bunch of sets have an enthusiasm score of 2.5. This one included Destiny's Bounty, Race Against Time. I'm not investing in Ninjago anymore. 75347, the TIE Bomber, will have a 2-year shelf life, 65 bucks for 625 pieces. I definitely want to get it on sale. I do like this one a lot. I know that Brickset says that 3 of the 4 minifigures are exclusive. One of those is the Gonk Droid, that's brick built, so I don't include that. So it's really 3 minifigures. And I do want to point out that if we look at the inventory and sort by elements and sets, the only minifigure that is exclusive is the one torso for Admiral Sloan. All the other minifigure elements are in 2, 3, even 7 other sets. The reason Brickset is showing another one is unique is it's just the unique combination of the elements. First time that those minifigure elements have all been put together to make a single minifigure. Yeah, it's still unique or exclusive to this set, but I don't think it has near the value as a exclusive part or element in the set. But still, I like this one a lot for investing, and there's only been one other TIE Bomber released in Lego form, and that was back in 2003. It's a Star Wars ship we've wanted, and I think it's gonna be very popular. 76906, this Ferrari Speed Champions. I generally get at least a few of all the Speed Champions. I like this one a lot. The Lotus Avia, not my favorite, but I'll still get a few. The new Creator 3-in-1 retro camera. It's only $20 for this. Now it's way too early to pick it up. It'll have at least a couple years shelf life, but the second I saw this, it was one that I said that's gonna be a special 3-in-1 on the secondary market. And it's already got a lot of buzz, but it's because of these film strips and the strap and spot on the shaping of the camera is. Unfortunately, these are stickers, not prints, but definitely one I'm keeping an eye on. Iron Spider-Man Brickheadz. Brickheadz are very popular these days. They're all doubling and sometimes tripling or more in value. So if it's a unique looking Brickhead set, I like it for investing. And the only time I would skip it is if it's a character that's been done multiple times in the past and the new one is pretty plain looking. looking, but this one looks great. Same thing with this Spring Festival Mickey Mouse. The previous Mickey and Minnie Brickheadz are $80 to $100, and this one has a lot of color on it, so I like it a lot. Now the next bunch of sets have an enthusiasm score of 2, starting with this Ideas Sonic Green Hill Zone. I've never been excited about this one, and even though a lot of people talk positively about it, my mind has not really been changed. I just don't like the fact that all the characters are brick built except one Sonic minifigure. 21332, the Ideas Globe. Not a lot of buzz. I've liked it from day one just because it looks very sophisticated, but now that we see that the world map is just shy of doubling in value right after retirement, which surprised all of us, I'm going to be even looking more closely at this globe set. 40615 Tuscan Raider, another Brickheadz that looks great. I'm all excited about it. This John Deere Technic tractor, I don't invest in much Technic unless it's a 50% or greater discount, so I don't know on this one. The $240 R2D2, I don't like it at all. It's just way too chunky. I like the new $100 one that's coming out. We'll look at that in a future video, I'm sure. Obi-Wan Kenobi's Jedi Starfighter. It was scheduled to retire last year, came off the retirement list, lost all of its buzz, but this Tanwi minifigure is outstanding, and this is a Starfighter. They typically do well, and it's Obi-Wan Kenobi Starfighter, so I like this one a lot. 501st Clone Troopers Battle Pack. I don't know about Battle Pack these days. I'm not as excited about them as I was a few years ago, but there's been a lot lately, and some are okay, and some are just kind of falling flat on the secondary market. 75352 Emperor's Throne Room Diorama. It's $100, so you have to get it on sale, but you guys know that I love the dioramas if you can get them on sale. And let's look at the 3 that just retired. The Jedi Training Diorama is going for about MSRP after shipping, and same thing with the Death Star Trench Run diorama, and I'm looking at eBay for these, and then same thing also with the Trash Compactor diorama that was a Walmart exclusive. All of them are going on average for about MSRP after shipping, and that's pretty good just a month or so after retirement. Another Clone Trooper Battle Pack. I do like the Swamp Speeder in this one. New Republic E-Wing versus Shin Hati Starfighter. Not my favorite set, but the minifigures are really good. Morgan Elsbeth looks great. Captain Porter is a good one. Balin Skull is a really good minifigure, and as we all know, unfortunately, the actor just passed away. And even the Shin Hati minifigure really looks like the actress in the show. So really good minifigures. I think they're going to have to carry the day for this set because the ships, in my opinion, look awful. Just not my cup of tea on those. 75365 Yavin 4 Rebel Base. To me, this is this year's Justifier, $117 for just over 1,000 pieces, but this one does come with a bunch of minifigures, 12 total. 8 are exclusive. I think that's pretty close. Just like the Justifier, if we can get it for $100, I'll grab a few, otherwise I'm passing. 40674 Stitch Brickhead just came out, and I love it, but I'll be waiting until it gets closer to retirement. The Mighty Bowser, we talked about this one earlier, and I love this one. Really great set. The Ideas Treehouse that's been on the retirement list basically every year and then continues on for another year. A ton of people have got burned on this one because they bought a lot of supply and they've had to sit on it for a long time or sell at a loss. So nobody wants to invest in this one at this point, but I am going to watch it a little bit. If we can get a really good discount on it, I'm going to say to myself, hey, it really seems like this is by far one of the most popular Lego sets ever. Of course, we don't have that data, but since it keeps on not retiring, I'm assuming it's crazy popular. And so maybe there would be some continued demand for it after it retires. Another Ideas set, the Jazz Quartet at $100 for 1,600 pieces. It only has a 1.5 enthusiasm score, but this is one that I'm calling is flying under the radar. I'm going to watch this one closely because I think that it is a really exquisite build and design and just beautiful. A lot of people love music. A lot of people love jazz. So I think this one could be a surprise to all of us on the secondary market. The Ideas Tales of the Space Age, a beautiful set. So simple, but so well done. I think it'll be okay for investing. Disney Duos with a 1.5 E-score. It is a Target exclusive, but I'm probably going to pass on this one. Peter Pan and Wendy's Flight Over London. I think this one is a Walmart exclusive, also a 1.5. Because there's 4 others that are similar to this, I'm going to keep an eye on this one. The UCS Landspeeder, it's a maybe. I want to watch it. Mandalorian Fang Fighter versus TIE Interceptor. Probably a no, but that TIE Interceptor, we haven't had one in a little while, and it looks pretty good. The Boba Fett mech, I've talked a lot about all 3 Star Wars mechs in previous videos. 21056, the Taj Mahal, not retiring retiring at the end of this year, but it does look like a pretty good set. The idea is BTS Dynamite, only an enthusiasm score of 1 on the table, but small sample size of only 2 mentions. Its ideas, the band's very popular to a lot of people, so it's one I'm going to keep an eye on. The current play scale Millennium Falcon, I'll be passing. Yoda's Jedi Starfighter, probably passing, almost an exact copy of the one from 5 years ago. And then the Ideas Grand Piano, it's a cool looking set, but it's $400 and it's been out for over 4 years. And now the rest of the table are sets with just 1 mention, so follow along the table as we go. I'm just going to show you the sets that have an enthusiasm score of 3. All the other sets I'll scroll through, and you can pause the video at any time and take a look at them if you would like, but I don't want to pull up all of the pictures for sets that just have 1 mention and enthusiasm score of 2 or 1. But these sets that have enthusiasm score of 3, even though they have 1 mention, I generally like them all for investing. Even Wally, it's a great Brickheadz set. Another great Brickheadz, Tales from Sonic. This is my favorite of the 3 Lord of the Ring Brickheadz because of Balrog, obviously. It's massively expensive AT-AT. Odds are it's a $1,600 set, but you want to sink $850 into 1 box. Boba Fett's Microfighter, the Endor Speeder Chase Diorama, I love it. Speed Champions Mercedes 2-pack, Indiana Jones Diorama, Temple of Golden Idol, and you guys know I love the dioramas in general, so this is a good one. The City of Lanterns, super cool Monkey Kid set. The Titanic, I've always had my eyes on this one because it's the Titanic. It's a museum piece, and after the performance of the Coliseum right after retirement, I think we're going to be watching this one even more closely. The Home Alone house, long shelf life, but it's a great set. The A-frame cabin, this Ideas set, not a lot of buzz, but I love it. It is just a gorgeous set. Same thing with the Hocus Pocus cottage, just fantastic looking. Potted Groot Brickheadz, love it. This Friends Community Center, pretty good, very colorful. I think this is one of the few Friends sets that I might actually look at. And I know some Friends you can do really well. I just don't have the time to deep dive those. The Mandalorian helmet, super cool. I forgot to scroll down on the table over here. Sorry about that. Boarding the Tanta 4 that we just got official pictures for. We'll call it a diorama, even though it's kind of like last year's Dark Trooper Attack. This one is so good. 7 minifigures and only $55. 7 minifigures. I know we all super excited about this one. We'll be talking about it a ton throughout this year. It shouldn't be retiring at the end of this year anyway, so we'll have tons of time to talk about it. And then Hogwarts Castle and Grounds. Most Harry Potter sets I'm not looking at, but this one I am going to look at. $170 for 2,660 pieces. Pretty good price apart, but there's a lot of small pieces. I bet we'll get an opportunity to get a small discount on it, and I will be picking some up. Very well designed and a much more manageable size to display in your house compared to the huge micro scale castle. And then the rest of these, I'm sure we'll get opportunity to look at them in the future, but I do like the Corvette, the other couple Lord of the Rings Brickheadz, some idea sets that might be worth looking at, and then some Star Wars that are not so popular and probably good ones to skip for investing. So now finishing up with my top 3, and third place is the Fast and Furious Nissan Skyline Speed Champions. Very well designed car, and the Paul Walker minifigure is awesome. Second place, Ninjago City Gardens. $350. You can't beat it. What a beautiful set. I'll even zoom in a little bit here. Look at all this, but all the colors, all the detail, all the part and piece usage, the foliage. It's an absolute winner in my opinion. And then the number 1, the Superstar Destroyer MIDI scale. I hope this new MIDI scale sub theme performs similarly to the helmets, passing the torch. They're starting to phase out. Bring these in. I think they're fantastic. All right, that's a wrap. Thanks for watching this one, and I will see you in the next one. Oh, and don't forget, my videos are for entertainment purposes only. I do not provide financial advice. You got to get that from somebody else.